Most of the time, when you find yourself overthinking, you are either ruminating about your past or worrying about your future. So, we always say live in this present moment, and those are mindfulness practices. To discuss what are mindfulness practices, I have invited somebody who is a mindset and mindfulness coach. He has touched more than 50,000 people through his seminars, webinars, his trainings, and through social media handles. He is Alok Taunk. Join me in welcoming Alok Taunk to Stories Matter. Good evening, Alok. Welcome to Stories Matter, and let's begin with your story. Tell us about yourself, how you switched your careers, and how you got into this mindfulness training and running these courses.
Sure, Indu. So, whenever it comes to the coaching part, I do say that I'm a coach by accident. I never thought that I would ever take coaching as a career. Um, Very conventional start I had. Like I did my education, and then I did my bachelor's of management studies as my the graduation. Then I got into post graduation. I did my MBA. And the idea behind doing MBA was because my father has his business. So, every father wants his son
Sure.
to be the successor and take it ahead. So, अच्छा कर लो MBA कर लो तो कहीं ना कहीं business में काम आ जाएगा. From that point of view, I did my MBA and that too in sales. I did my MBA in marketing and business development. But yeah, it was exciting. And tagging yourself as an MBA and stuff, it is really good. It really feels good. But then my dad also wanted me to go and take some hardcore experience, go to some organizations, work and this and that. So I was super excited to get the real world experience and stuff. So it was all good. But then you know how sales is, right? When you go there, it's all about targets and you start feeling the heat. So this is what happened. um, every single month we had those targets, and every single month you have to face those questions, terrible questions and all that stuff. That started giving me a lot of stress and anxiety, because every single morning when you know that office jana hai, when you know that boss se milna hai, when you know that ye sawal honge, when you know that aapke paas jawab nahi hai. So
I
that
totally
gives
get that.
lot of. Yes, it's crazy. And then your job, your boss, that thought itself triggers anxiety, you know. But luckily, I really feel that, I'm blessed that right from my childhood, I got an environment of meditation. I got an environment of um, certain, concentration practices and stuff, because it was a kind of spiritual background that I got. So these practices were a part of my routine. Somewhere it became a part of my routine, because what you see is what you end up doing sometimes, knowingly, unknowingly. And then mindfulness was something that I consciously ventured into, because it really fascinated me that how science can really make a lot of sense when you talk about meditation and all these practices. So I did my own analysis and my self study in order to understand the brain and all this stuff, because I like to have that scientific element behind any practice that you do, because it makes most sense, right? We are all logical beings in a way. So that's where I realized, Indu, that yaar ye kaam karta hai. you know these things, they really help. They really help you to glide through crisis. So when I started integrating these mindfulness practices when I was in my job, before a meeting, or before getting into a client call, or when I know that today's meeting is going to be crazy, so you start anticipating ye hoga wo hoga. But then when you do these practices, they really help you to ground yourself. It really helps you to anchor, and it slows you down. And whenever you slow down, when you anchor yourself, that brings a lot of mental and emotional clarity. So that's where you end up responding. So I saw this working for me. वहां पे मुझे लगा कि अगर ये मुझे हेल्प कर रहा है, if it is helping me, it will help so many other people out there. So in a nutshell, this is how the transition happened.
Is amazing.
You
So,
know?
would you like to give a little more input on like how people today they feel so stressed and burnt out, and what is mindfulness, and how do these practices actually help? And if you could explain it for our viewers.
Yes. The thing is, when we talk about mindfulness, I've seen a lot of people, getting confused over this because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of data which is available online, and generally there are a lot of jargons and scientific, terms that are used when all these concepts are spoken about or explored on. But in a layman's language, जो simple कोई भी इसको समझ सकता है, and that is this is how I put mindfulness as that it's all about building your sense of awareness, जिसको हम सजगता कहते हैं, है ना, कि आप कितने सजग हो, आप कितने अवेयर हो, what is happening with you, what's happening in you, and what's happening around you. So when you are able to be aware, when you are able to be more conscious about why am I feeling what I'm feeling, what just triggered me, why did I back out from this situation, why did I make this choice and not that one, because there is an underlying program which is running us. So we are doing things for months and for years. We have been doing certain things in a certain way only because
We
we
built
have
those
that.
coping mechanisms from our
Yes.
childhood or from whatever circumstances we've been facing. So I think
Yes.
that the reaction comes from there.
Yes, yes. And that's also in a way it's a learned behavior. In our past, if we have experienced some kind of fear, right? And now if we are about to face a similar kind of situation, we know that okay, let's not do this, let's do that, because in the past it had worked for me.
Yeah,
So
learned
in a
skill.
way, yeah, we have built all those learning mechanisms. So according to me, this is how I see that mindfulness is the process of building awareness in order to have better clarity. And to all our viewers, I'd like to say that awareness is the basis of a beautiful outcome. Why do I say that? Because when you are aware, you have more clarity. When you are clear, you are more certain. When you have certainty, you are confident. And when you are confident, you make a best choice which gives you an amazing outcome. So and this works in any area of your life. Like for example, let's say if some of our viewers are in a position right now to make some kind of investment, financial investment, if you are not aware कि कौन सा financial instrument मेरे लिए अच्छा होगा, which will give me good returns, कहाँ पे risk ज़्यादा है, then you will not be able to make a choice. You'll procrastinate or you'll end up doing nothing.
Or you will
If there
just
is someone,
buy it from somebody else, like
yes,
so and so friend is investing, so I also might as well do this.
yes, exactly. You end up making a decision based on a random influence, right? If a person wants to, switch a job, अगर आपको पता ही नहीं है कि which job or which organization has good culture, कहाँ पे growth opportunities है, that awareness is lacking, then you will have no clarity. And when there is no clarity, there's confusion. So you end up, making a disastrous decision.
Yeah, what I also understand from your conversation, when you are aware, you will be more solution focused rather than,
Yes.
just ranting over the problem and repeatedly
Yes.
talking about the problem. मुझे ये हो रहा है, पर क्यों हो रहा है अगर पता ही नहीं है और फिर आप solution कैसे ढूंढोगे? So this is
Yes.
making lot of sense कि आप पहले आपको पता होना चाहिए मुझे जो हो रहा है वो क्यों हो रहा है.
मुझे क्या हो रहा है और मुझे क्यों हो रहा है और मैं इसके बारे में क्या कर सकता हूँ.
बिल्कुल हम
That's three
यही
things.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
Yes.
सो
Yeah.
व्हाट वी हैव आल्सो सीन कि हमें पता है कि हमें ओवर थिंकिंग नहीं करनी एंड इधर वी आर रुमिनेटिंग अबाउट आवर पास्ट और वी आर वरिंग अबाउट फ्यूचर, फिर भी बीइंग कोचेस आल्सो बीइंग काउंसलर्स आल्सो हम खुद ओवर थिंकिंग में कहीं ना कहीं वी गेट ट्रैप्ड इन दैट लूप. सो हाउ
Yeah.
कैन माइंडफुलनेस प्रैक्टिसेस हेल्प पीपल ओवरकम दिस ओवर थिंकिंग?
Mm, this is a question I keep on getting a lot, Indu, and I think a lot of people they struggle with overthinking.
Most
But
of
my yes, a lot of people, if you even go on Quora or just search on Google, this is one of the most asked question. I personally think that overthinking is not a problem.
habit.
Why do I say that? Because uh, I give this analogy कि हमारा जो मन है ना, our mind is like a factory. और एक फैक्ट्री जो है वो 24/7 चौबीसों घंटे वो चालू है, वो प्रोडक्शन यूनिट चालू है उसका, एंड इट इज कंटिन्यूसली प्रोड्यूसिंग सम काइंड ऑफ गुड्स. So the goods in our case is our thoughts. So this factory is 24/7, it's on, it's running, it's producing these goods called as thoughts. So instead of thinking that how do I switch off the factory, मैं फैक्ट्री को कैसे बंद कर दूं, we just need to appoint a quality manager. जो वहां पे खड़ा है वो सिर्फ ये देख रहा है कि प्रोडक्ट की क्वालिटी सही है कि नहीं. दैट्स इट. सो दैट मैनेजर कैन अगेन बी अवर माइंडफुलनेस मैनेजर. सो ये जो माइंडफुलनेस मैनेजर है, which is a part of you, that mindfulness manager just looks at it, that what are you thinking right now? Why are you thinking what you're thinking, and what can be done about it? Okay. So overthinking, generally, if you see, Indu, we don't generally overthink. For example, let's say if you are on a vacation with your family, you are on a beach enjoying the ocean, will you be overthinking at that moment of time? No, you won't be, right? You would be enjoying, you would be in the moment. But we only overthink when there is some unfinished business that we are dealing with. It can be
productivity. It's not focused on productivity.
Exactly. If there is something that is fearing us, if we are fearful about something, if something has happened in the past and that is eating up a lot of our mental and emotional space, that's when overthinking happens. It is about guilt or regret, or maybe it is about some kind of fear or worry.
Yeah,
ऐसा
also
हो गया
I
तो.
think if you are doing nothing about it, just thinking about it means you are
Exactly.
not reaching any conclusion or reaching any solution to solve a problem, rather just keep thinking about it. So that's not going to
Exactly.
help in any way.
Exactly, because that will only and only exhaust you mentally and emotionally. क्योंकि कई लोगों के साथ मैंने ये भी देखा है कि they are not ready to take action, but they just want to, it's called as mental diarrhea also. You're just thinking over it over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. फिर एक ऐसा टाइम आता है जहाँ पे you are mentally and emotionally exhausted, and then you only look out for instant gratification कि चलो WhatsApp देख लिया या Instagram देख लिया, YouTube पे reels देख ली. So it is distraction. So I would say one of the best ways to deal with overthinking, Indu, is that first of all, relax and sit. Take a notepad, take a pen, take a deep breath, and try to write down all the thoughts, random thoughts that are here. So it's like, bring your cognitive dump on the piece of paper. Okay, just put it there. Now, when you have all that, dump on the piece of paper, you will have more clarity कि मैं क्या सोच रहा हूँ, मतलब what is it that is taking up a lot of my mental and emotional space. And one more thing, Indu, that overthinking is not about having multiple thoughts. It is about having those similar thoughts multiple times. It's more about frequency.
We call it record बज रहा है पूरा time.
Yeah.
So you gently unhook it. तो हम कहते हैं
Yes.
बार-बार बजाए जा रहे हो.
You're in a loop, So now when you put it on a piece of paper, you're able to see, okay, this is what is bothering me, this is what is bothering me, this is what is bothering. ठीक है, अभी आपको पता है. Then second step is, now you ask yourself, what is in my control and what is not in my control. So basically, you're taking charge of your controllables. And then you only focus on your controllables and ask yourself that what can I do about this? Is there something that I can do right now? Or is there something that I can plan for the future? If yes, do it. And then take action. I think that action is one of the most powerful antidotes to overthinking, because that gives you momentum.
I fully agree. As you've said, talked about your job shift, I did the same, because if something repeatedly keeps, annoying you, or you are unhappy, and every morning you have to think about it and it stresses you, it's better either to leave it or fix it. So if you can't fix it, you leave it and create some new universe for yourself. And I fully agree to, and I would say endorse your thoughts. You've just mentioned about reels and shifting your attention to something unproductive. ये बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम बन गई है. पढ़े लिखे लोग भी कहते हैं हम 6-6 घंटे एक बार बैठे रील्स देखते रहते हैं. सो इसके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं? और कहते हैं कि लोगों का अब अटेंशन स्पैन 6 सेकंड से भी कम हो गया. because once you open your phone or once you start messaging or watching these reels, पता नहीं कितना time निकल गया और आप वहीं बैठे रह गए. So
Yes.
how can we fix this?
There are multiple ways, multiple ways. So, some tips and some, hacks that really work is, so in my community also I talk about this. There is a concept called as MPB. So I've created this concept called as mini productivity bursts. Right? I call it as MPBs. So you work in MPBs in order to become more productive and in order to get away from distraction. Generally, अगर आप देखो, for all of us, no matter who you are, no matter what age and stage of life you are, we are bombarded with these three kinds of distractions. The first distraction is physical distraction, that is people around us. They keep on coming in our space. Number two is mental and emotional distraction, which is you keep on getting some thoughts, or maybe you are lost in some thoughts, you start reminiscing, or maybe the fear or anxiety of the future. And the third kind of distraction is digital distraction. So we are talking about digital distraction. That अगर आप कुछ काम कर रहे हो, टिंग कुछ बजा, फिर आपका ध्यान वहां पे जाता है,
Become the
and then you are
biggest
done.
nuisance actually.
Yes. One thing that happens that takes away your 20 minutes, because that's not the only thing that you are going to attend to. One after the other, you will be lost in that trail. So MPB is something wherein I ask people to, fix a time slot for yourself. It can be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Full focus, and you work on that, and keep your, mobile phones or your laptop or any other gadgets upside down, or put it on silent so that they don't disturb you. And after that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, now you attend your phone and you check your messages, you check WhatsApp, you check emails, and check anything and everything that you want to. Do it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever time you want to. Then again, get back into another MPB. So that's how you can become more productive. This is one thing. Number two, today, if you see a lot of the phones, they have this facility wherein you can put a time limit. You can put a time limit on your applications. कि आपने अगर इतने घंटों का या इतने मिनटों का अगर आपने एक टाइम लिमिट दिया है, and then while you are scrolling, your application will shut off. Then you will not be able to use it. So this is one of the ways which can really foster self-discipline, right? This is one of the ways. This third thing that you can do is you can literally fix a time slot or time stamps in your day which will be dedicated to social media consumption. So what you can do is, like, after every 2 hours or after every 3 hours, I will check my Instagram, or I'll check my Facebook, or I'll check my whatever social media, app you're consuming a lot. So if you give a dedicated time slot, then there'll be no FOMO. See, generally what happens is we have this thing that I'm missing out on something, right? There might be an important message, there might be an important reel, there might be important something, and I don't want to miss it out. So you automatically your hand reaches out to your phone, automatically your finger taps on the Instagram account, automatically it opens up and you start scrolling. So if you build this kind of mechanism, then you can really, stay in that limit, I think. Yeah.
Beautifully worded. I'm sure our viewers are going to gain. I feel like writing everything that you are telling. So that takes me to our next question. We started with this anxiety. How do
Yeah.
we deal with our anxieties, like day-to-day anxieties of entering a meeting or being on stage or before an exam?
Yeah. See, the thing is, Indu, whenever we talk about anxiety, according to me, this is how I define anxiety. It's a combination of worry and fear, right? And anxiety always roots from the future. We are always anxious about something that is going to happen. क्या होगा? ऐसा हुआ तो, what if
Yeah,
this happens? What? So all, yeah, it's all the what if business, that is going on here. That is what leads to anxiety. For a student, it is what if, in this examination, if I get some questions which I'm not prepared for. For a candidate, it's about what if, the interviewer asks me a question and I'm not able to answer. For a person who's going to give a presentation, what if, I fumble or I forget, or if I'm asked a question by the audience and I'm not prepared for that. So it's all about this what if, what if, what if. So anxiety can be classified as performance anxiety, it can be health anxiety. So there are multiple types of anxieties, right? So the question that you asked is more about performance anxiety. It's about student performing in the exam, working professionals performing in their interviews, or maybe presentations for that matter. The thing is, Indu, what I've realized is, in order to handle anxiety, or in order to deal with anxiety, we need to work in on two areas, and that happens like in a sequence, number one and number two. The first area that we need to work on is physiological handling. It's more about managing your physiology, because ultimately, we'll not go deeper into science, but just from a nutshell, if we have to understand, whenever we are anxious, right? So it's the fight and flight mechanism that is triggered. So the amygdala fires up, and your prefrontal cortex, which is like the executive part of the brain, it is not functioning at the optimum. So, anyways, the emotional brain is hijacking our intelligence. So वैसे भी वहां पे आपको कुछ सूझेगा ही नहीं. एंग्जाइटी के दौरान आपको कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आएगा. एंग्जाइटी के दौरान you are only somehow trying to manage the situation. So one of the best ways, the first switch, the first button to push is try to stabilize your physiology. And one of the best ways to do it is by concentrating on your breath, full breath in, full breath out. In fact, one of the breathing patterns that is really working wonders for hundreds of people in our community is 5:8 breathing, wherein you inhale for the count of 5 and you exhale from your mouth for the count of 8. So, anyways, you are exhaling for a longer period of time. Just do it for couple of minutes. Just do it for a couple of minutes in a state of anxiety. It will instantly relax you on the spot. Your heartbeat will stabilize. Those palpitations will be normal. Your body will relax. And sometimes people also experience some kind of headache during anxiety. Even that will relax. So you are taking care of the physiological symptom. So when you do this, when you do 5:8, when you relax, when you do your conscious breathing, you are taking charge of your prefrontal cortex, and you are also stabilizing and down regulating your amygdala. So now you are in a better position. You are prepared to intervene with your intellect. इमोशंस को अगर आपने हैंडल नहीं किया पहले, तो इंटेलिजेंस कुछ काम की नहीं है. So first we take care of our physiology, and then you ask yourself this thing that, okay, what am I anxious about? The answer that you get is, okay, I'm anxious about what if something goes wrong. So basically, we are always anxious about something that is in the future. It's not happening right now. So our mind is running, behind that particular thing. So now you ask yourself, okay, what can I do about it? How can I prepare myself for that particular thing? Preparation is one of the best antidotes to overcome anxiety. You know, right now, when we think about our examination days, when we start preparing for an exam, for a subject for that matter, the anxiety reduces. So preparation and anxiety are inversely proportional. Higher the preparation, less is your anxiety. Less the preparation, more is your anxiety. So I think this is one of the best ways to deal with it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time and for accepting my invitation. Any last message that you would want to leave for our viewers? In this interview, I have myself gained so much wisdom, and yeah. Any last message?
I would just say that every problem, like a lot of people, I mean, all of us, right? All of us, we are in the same boat. We are going through our ups and downs. We have our own challenges. Sometimes we feel that my problem has no solution, because what we are doing is we have a magnifying glass in our hand, and we are magnifying our problem, and our problem becomes so big, and we feel that we are very small in front of that problem, and that's where we feel helpless. My only message to all the viewers is that whenever you find yourself stuck in this problematic situation, zoom out. When you zoom out from the problem, That's when you realize the problem is very small. It's not big. Number two, when you do a comparative analysis of people who are going through their own problems, you will realize your problem is nothing in front of them. Having said that, my last message to all the audience is that every problem has a solution. If you are not able to see one, that doesn't mean there is none. Connect with someone who can actually empathize with you. Connect with people who have been through similar kind of problems. Have an open discussion. It's okay to be vulnerable. Speak out, ask for help, and you'll realize that there is always some kind of light on the end of the tunnel. And that's your way out. That's
Thank
it.
you so much. I think one more point I would like to add, having gratitude. Like, if
Yeah.
whatever we have, if we are not thankful for what we have, what are we going to gain with if new things, it's
Yeah.
extremely important to be thankful, and I am thankful to you for
Thank
joining
you.
me, for
Thank
accepting my invitation. I hope all our viewers have gained a lot, and you can follow Alok on different social media handles, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, everywhere. He's giving his beautiful reels, and that's how I came in contact with him. Thank you, Alok. All the best for
Thank
your
you.
future as
Thank you,
well.
Indu. Thank you very much for having me here. And you're doing a wonderful job. God bless you. And you have a long, long way to go. Thank you.
Thank you.